We're here live in the synth car. Yeah, I know what you might be saying, Samurai. You look about 20 years younger. It's because I had a long weekend, baby. Not a long weekend. I had a normal weekend, but it felt long because we did a lot of stuff. But I guess the topic of the show this morning is Synth Renegades versus the Synth Mafia. Everybody wants to know. Over the weekend, I probably got about, I don't know, 2,000 to 3,000 emails. I only got to about 12 of them. And 75% of those emails that I actually got to were asking me questions, being like, what's up with this Synth Mafia? What's up with this Synth Renegades? And I guess I should try to explain it because there seems to be a lot of confusion going on. There seems to be some groups of people who've kind of, you know, if you take a rock and you throw it at a pack of wild dogs and the dog that yelps is the one that got hit by the rock. You know, you didn't try to hit a particular dog, but you were just kind of playing around and suddenly a bunch of people got offended. What's up, brother? A bunch of people got offended by the Synth Mafia term. And it seems like a bunch of people are getting excited about the Synth Renegade term. And both terms are just having fun. What's up, Hans Volt? So I figured I'd have to come on here, clear up the air, let everyone know what the deal is with the Synth Mafia and the Synth Renegades. Is there beef? Is it just normal? There's one particular group, I'm not going to bring them up, but they seem to have taken the Synth Mafia term to heart and are offended by it. When, you know, when I say the Synth Mafia, it's almost like a compliment in a way, but it's also kind of real too now, I guess. I kind of made it up as a joke, but it seems some of the reactions that are happening makes me actually wonder if it's real. And maybe some of you guys have been wondering if it's real. And the whole Synth Renegade movement is about a group of people out there who, let's get down to brass tacks. A group of people doesn't like me making around like the Digidogs, the Behringer Bros, the vintage vagabonds, the analog aristocrats, and just kind of don't really get the whole kayfabe aspect of what I'm really doing here. And I don't know, if you've been watching the Juno Diddy series, the Juno X-Files series, you probably get an idea about me and my personality. If you're not, you're not, and if you don't, you don't. If you don't get it, you don't get it. But the whole Synth Renegade, Behringer Bro movement it started because I was watching the Synth Tube and the Gear Tube or whatever, and it seemed like there was a large faction of very popular YouTube figures who all seemed to be in lockstep against one company, and that was Behringer. And I kept watching and I noticed that a lot of them would make videos that would hate on Behringer that would get, I don't know, tons of views. And it seemed like anytime Behringer came out with a product, they would poo-poo it, and then they would go into their forums and all this stuff, and they just kind of like hate on Behringer, and they'd give Behringer no love. And then I witnessed that it seemed that Behringer wouldn't be sending synthesizers to these groups. And so therefore these groups said, all right, if you're not going to send us gear, then we're not going to rep your gear. And it seemed like they would only rep gear that was by companies that was sent to them. So I took a different approach. I came on and said, well, I'm going to rep all the gear that I think is cool, pretty much every piece of gear. The only really gear I don't like is Teenage Engineering. And I've come around now, and I like the medieval product because it's got a hurdy-gurdy. And I just didn't really understand why there was a large group of people in lockstep. So I kind of just coined the term Synth Mafia to instead of calling people out, I thought I would be polite and just give an overarching term of the Synth Mafia, which was a group of people Didn't know who they were, didn't name them, didn't anyways. They kind of like, they know who they are. It seems they know who they are because I never mentioned them, and then they started to get offended because I call them that. And that's a group of people who sign NDAs, who are in on product releases and can't tell you about them, who shill gear because they get given free gear or they get paid, you know. And when you get given gear, that's kind of a form of payment. So I got sent a piece of gear a while ago called the Shinito something, Tempo Pad or something like that. This company wrote me. It was the first company who was like, yeah, we'll send you some gear. I was like, go for it. I was like, but if you're going to send me some gear, I was like, send some to Echo Craft too, or I'm not doing the review. And they're like, okay, no problem. So then I thought, I was like, well, if anybody's going to send me gear from now on, I'll just like start saying, well, send me gear and send me like 4 or 5 more pieces of gear so I can give it away. And I was like, if I'm going to have to like talk about gear, then why not just give me more gear and then I'll give it away to people when I do a stream about it. And then I said, you know what? Why don't I just really not do this kind of thing? And I did a reverse Synth Mafia. I just started repping gear, and then a company was like, thanks for repping the gear. Here's a synth. I thought that was kind of cool. It was like reverse Synth Mafia, you know, in reverse. I'll do the work first because I love it, and then you can be like, thank you, like sending me a postcard, thank you. And I was like, cool. So the Synth Renegades are a group of bedroom musicians, aspiring musicians, hobbyists, people who just have an absolute lust for synthesizer gear. We're the synth worshipers. We're the people who don't gatekeep. We don't want to form groups, and you're only allowed into this group if you kiss the ring of the white bathrobe wearing snowman. Okay? If you don't know who he is, you know who he is, but it's pretty easy to find out. They're a group of people who you have to think a certain way in every aspect of life, which is kind of weird. And if you don't think that way, then you're shunned. You know, you're looked at like some type of lower form of human. It's kind of very strange. And I never actually started noticing this till I started paying attention to some things that were sent to me. And I was like, wow, this is a weird group of dudes, man. Like, I'm talking about weird, okay? And it's so weird that I don't even want to get into it. That's how weird it is. And I don't even want to friggin' cover it or talk about it. So anyways, this is how the Synth Renegades formed. The Synth Renegades were Behringer Bros. They were vintage vagabonds. They were analog aristocrats. They were digi-dogs. They were corgis. They were ravenous Roland ramparts. And we all just figured, you know what? We're not going to just poo-poo Behringer because all these elite synthfluencers are telling us to poo-poo Behringer. We're not going to poo-poo Behringer because all these channels are trying to feed us this line that Behringer's a big, bad, evil company, blah, 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 blah. Listen, man, once you get to a certain level of company, everybody's doing a little bit of shady nonsense. Everybody's doing some shady crap here and there. And a lot of these cats in the Synth Mafia who are hating on Behringer all the time because Behringer won't send them a synthesizer. And they're like, well, Behringer's not going to send us a synth, so you know what? We're going to hate on Behringer. It's like, you guys started it, man. You guys started this weird revolt, you know? You guys started this weird revolt against Behringer, and you tried to incept the whole YouTube population and make everybody think, like me, that if you supported Behringer, you're some kind of bad person. It's crazy. Because there's more Behringer bros out there than there's Synth Mafia, than there's any of the analog aristocrats. There's more of us than anybody. And the point is the Behringer bros love synthesizers in general. We just love all of it. Everyone thinks I'm the biggest Behringer bro around. I'm a corgi baby at heart. I got more corgs than anything. All right, now I'm a Juno Diddy boy. All right, I'm going after the diddler in the only way I know how, with the Juno X-Files series. If you didn't see episode 2 last night, go check it out. It's amazing. It's one of the greatest synthesizer drama stories ever created. It might be the only synthesizer drama story ever created. It's the first actual Hollywood produced, but not made in Hollywood, made in Synth Samurai Production Studios. Synth Samurai Studios, the newly formed Synthflix production zone. And I don't know, we're just having a good time, man. Not serious all the time. Even the fact that you're like coming after me all the time is just totally weird. It's just the weirdest thing, because I'm just doing pro wrestling, baby. I'm having a good time, just having a laugh. And you guys are so serious. It's just weird. So serious. And now you're so serious, you brought me up. You got a bunch of backlash because the Renegades went around planting the pirate flag all over your live streams, letting you know that we are many. Hashtag Synth Renegades everywhere. Hashtag putting pirate flags all over the place. And then you go in these weird little streams, and then you try to like, we're not going to talk about this guy because he's not on our level. He's just a protagonist in the synth industry, dividing people. And man, cry me a damn river, dude. Are you that much of a little baby? What are you talking about dividing people? We're having a laugh. You're the one dividing people. You guys started dividing people. You guys are the ones that made all the Behringer purchasers and customers feel shunned and feel like less. You guys make everybody feel like if you go out and you don't got enough money and you want synthesizers and get some analog nostalgia, that you're less, you're a peasant. It's weird. You guys divided people. I ain't dividing anybody. I'm bringing everybody together. You guys are the one dividing people. So that's the story of the Synth Mafia and the Synth Renegades. The Synth Mafia was an imaginary group created just to have a good time and create my own little protagonist in my own little story, in my own little channel that I'm creating just for fun, not for clicks, not for subscribers, not for likes, not for nothing, just other than to have a good time with a bunch of like-minded people who aren't into such a serious form of content. And I love all you guys. That's the thing, man. Especially this one group. I used to watch you guys every Friday, man. I used to watch you every Friday on the way home from work. I was an active contributor in your live streams, just having fun. And then I find out that all your mods are all against me, and they shun me in the background. And these backwater CCTV looks like it's being filmed in a friggin' mental institute. Looks like you guys don't even know you're on camera. Looks like you got secret cameras on you, and it's filmed in a friggin' mental institute. Because what you guys get on with is weird. You know what I mean? And it's cool, I watch it. You think I don't watch? I sit through your 5-hour streams, man, on 2x speed. I watch it at full 2x speed because I'm a speed watcher. I started at 1.25, then I went to 1.5, then I went to 1.75, and now I watch your 5-hour streams on 2.0 speed and watch them in about 2.5 hours. Because I was just like, are you guys really gonna hate on the beautiful, the cute, the charismatic, the handsome, the Chad of the synthesizer world? Is that who you're gonna hate on? For no reason at all? So just let me tell you something. The Synth Mafia are the ones who divide people, and you started this whole thing by making Behringer customers and people who like Behringer feel like less. And you all did it together, you all did it in lockstep, and it's weird, and it's time to knock it off. But the funny thing is now that we created this little movement, and now you know that there's absolutely hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Behringer Bros, aka Synth Renegades, and all of us who just like having a good time and like synthesizers in general. Now that you know there's lots of us, suddenly the Behringer grind comes out, and now you love it because you know you guys are click farmers, you guys beg for donations, you guys beg for money, and now you know that there's tons of Behringer Bros out there So now you're going to try and bring them all into your tent because we're on to your game, all right? All you synth straw wearing, click farming, donation dirt bag money grubbing, clicking cowboys, this is a message for you. The Synth Renegades are here to stay. And I'm going to send a mediator over to your camp, and maybe the Synth Renegades, and maybe the Synth Mafia can make a deal. Maybe we can cut a deal to get along. Maybe it's time for us to sit down like grown-ass men on live TV instead of these backwater CCC TV, however you say that, weird hidden camera streams that you guys do for 8 or 9 hours together, where for some reason you like bringing my name up. And now you know that we are here, so now you won't even say my name. So I ain't saying your name either. But maybe it's time for us to meet. And shout out to Nick Bat, an absolute professional. Nick Bat realizes real. He knows what's up. He knows I'm legit. He gets the game. He understands what I'm doing. But for some damn reason, you guys got no friggin' clue what's going on. You do not know how to think 4 or 5 levels under the first onion layer and see that we're all just having a good time. You don't know what kayfabe is, and you just don't get it. So I'm running a promo on your candy ass. If you smell what the Synth Samurai is cooking, shoot!